Hello everyone, welcome to this video where I will explain the concept which is called as frequency division multiplexing. As you know, the multiplexing is nothing but transmission of multiple signals through a common channel. The channel may be a free space or maybe a cable or whatever the kind of the channel is. So we want to transmit multiple signals as take an example of say mobile communication, radio communication, television application, or voice communication maybe in a telephone. So we want to transmit multiple signals through the common channel. Okay. So what is the the method is? The method is something called as the frequency division multiplexing, or there is another method something called as time division multiplexing. But in this video, I will explain the concept of frequency division multiplexing. So what do you mean by this is, okay? Now, see this. No, multiplexing, as I told, is one of the very important, the concept or a signal processing operation in the analog communication, basically. TDM is more commonly used in digital communication. Now, what is the meaning of this frequency division multiplexing is or multiplexing is? As I told just now, the number of independent message signals we can combine together, okay, and transmit a composite signal through a common channel. This process is called as multiplexing. Now, just take an example of the voice frequencies. The range of the voice frequencies, as you know, is given by 300 to 3400 hertz. Now, I have a multiple voice signals, let us say, okay. I have a number of such a voice signals to be transmitted through a cable, telephone signals, let us say, okay. And I have to keep those multiple signals, voice signals, separate. I don't want to mix it up, okay. So, and in the receiving side also, I should be able to distinguish between the multiple voice signals, message signals. This process, this is possible, or transmission of multiple signals is possible by using a concept called as maybe FDM or maybe in the time domain, time division multiplexing case. Okay, so the separation can be done either by in the frequency domain or frequency or in time. Okay, and if the separation is done in the frequency, it is called as frequency division multiplexing, and if I do a separation in the time, it is called as time division multiplexing. Okay, so this is the difference actually. Okay, so we have an entire spectrum, let us say. Okay, I divide those spectrums into multiple smaller frequency spectrums and allocate to different stations. This concept is called as frequency division multiplexing. Okay, and all the signals are transmitted at the same time. But in the time division multiplexing, entire signal may occupy the entire spectrum, all the signals. Let us say I have a n number of signals, and all n number of signals can occupy a same bandwidth, fine, but they are transmitted in a different time slots. That is called as time division multiplexing. But we will concentrate more on frequency division multiplexing in this video. Now, so this is simple block diagram of FDM, frequency division multiplexing, as well as demultiplexing. So this shows a multiplexing operation. This is done at the receiver side where the signals are demultiplexed and individual signals are separated out. So let's just look at this. I have a n number of signals as the input for my multiplexer, fine, and they are all given to the low pass filters. The function of these low pass filters is we can call them as they are actually basically used to allow only the low frequency signals, message signals, and they will restrict the highest frequency of all these message inputs to a certain frequency. Let us say voice band. Okay, so the highest frequency given there is 3400 hertz. So I design all these low pass filters with a cutoff frequency of 3400 hertz. So any frequency component which say may not contribute more to the message signal representation, but may appear above that 3400 hertz. Okay, the high frequency above 3400 hertz. All such signals are actually you can say eliminated by the low pass filters. So only 300 to 3400 hertz range in the voice communication is allowed by the low pass filters, and they are given to the modulator. Okay, we have a multiple modulators over here, and all these individual message inputs are modulated by using different carriers. Okay, let us say this is by F1, this is F2, this is say Fn, the carrier frequencies, and all these carrier signals are given by the carrier supply. And let us assume that more commonly in a voice communication and all we use SSB or any kind of modulation, say DSB, SSC, maybe double sideband suppressed carrier, whatever. Okay, So we modulate, say, let us say this is a multiplier, fine. So where a modulator is nothing but a product modulator, let us consider. So the message signals are multiplied by the carrier given. So in the output of that we get a LSB and USB. If it is a SSB modulation, then I use this band pass filter, which is used to allow only either maybe upper sideband or maybe the lower sideband. So one of the sideband is selected by using a band pass filter, and then finally the output of all these band pass filters are connected together, okay, and sent through a common channel. Okay, multiplexing is done over here and transmitted through the common channel. The separation is done over here because the carrier frequencies used are different, and the spectrum of this message input 1, 2 and up to n are shifted to a different carrier frequency. Okay, I'll show you that in this spectrum representation. Just look at this. Okay, this may be the central frequency of the first signal. Okay, that is, let us say f1. This is, let us say, some f2. This is maybe some f3. This is, say, fn maybe in general. Okay, so I have taken a 4 representations, so we can have a n number of representations. So here this is the spectrum occupied by the first signal. This is the spectrum occupied by the second signal, where f2 is more than f1, let us say, f3 is more than f2. So this is the spectrum occupied by the third signal, maybe the fourth signal, or maybe the nth signal, whatever. Okay, so there is always a separation between the two spectrums, and we call this as a guard band. So there is no question of overlapping or interference among these signals, n number of signals. So hence easily we can separate it out in the receiver. Coming back to the receiver block diagram here, so we get a So we get the multiplexed signal through a common channel at the receiver, and in the receiver, these band pass filters again are designed to allow only this USB or LSB, maybe one sideband. This LSB or USB, the sideband is allowed by this band pass filter. This band pass filter is designed to allow only the nth sideband, okay, or the sideband of the nth signal, let us say. So it allows only those sidebands, okay, that is the spectrum representation. Let us say the first band pass filter is used to allow only this particular sideband. This is the another one, maybe this is the another one, or this may be the another one. So these are all maybe the USBs, let us say, upper sideband or maybe lower sideband, whatever. Okay, so then we use a demodulation process here, and the same carrier is used. Whatever the carrier we are applying, maybe this is the F1, this is the F2, this is the Fn, maybe. So the same carrier supply we use, and this is a coherent detection technique, what exactly we are using in the receiver. For SSB modulation, we use a coherent demodulation, right? So the output of that demodulator is nothing but it is the message signal. Okay, so the low pass filter will allow only the first message output here. This low pass filter will allow the second message output. Okay, and this is the nth. So that means I can say that all these message signals are actually recovered in the receiver side. So all these, say the first one, this may be the second one, and this may be the nth one, which is allowed by the low pass filter, I can say. Okay, so this is frequency division multiplexing. How exactly we perform frequency division multiplexing, or multiplexing of multiple signals. So as I told earlier, my incoming signals may have a non-zero values necessarily. It's not necessary that you should have a non-zero values, but may have a non-zero values also. Okay, so in that case we should be very careful. Okay, and all these signals are mutually exclusively transmitted. Okay, as I mentioned over here, maybe in the time or maybe in the frequency domain, right? And most of the time in the telephone applications we use a single sideband modulation. Okay, now let us 4 kilohertz is the wide bandwidth. Let us say 300 to 3400 hertz means it is almost 3K, roughly 4K of bandwidth is allocated, if I assume, for a normal communication, the voice telephony applications. Okay, 4 kilohertz of bandwidth is allocated for each voice signals. Okay, so we have a band pass filter to allow only the sidebands, right? In the receiving side, we have a band pass filter to allow only those particular sidebands, as I explained already. Okay, and pass it through individual demodulators, and we get back the message signals over there, right? Now, very important thing is the transmission bandwidth. So what is the transmission bandwidth required over here? I have taken one example. Let us say n equal to 24. That means I want to multiplex 24 voice signals, fine, by using the SSB modulation. As you know, in the SSB modulation, the bandwidth required is nothing but it is the message bandwidth, that is W hertz. Okay, so in this case, the W hertz is nothing but it is 4 kilohertz for a voice signal, right? Yeah, just come back to the previous slide. Yeah, the bandwidth is 4 kilohertz for a message signal. That means even after modulation, SSB modulation, the bandwidth required is 4 kilohertz. That means individual signals require a bandwidth of 4 kilohertz. How many signals I have? 24, right? So the overall bandwidth required is 24 into 4 kilohertz. That means 4 kilohertz spectrum you multiply by 24 times. I have a 24 voice signals. That is the overall bandwidth required for transmitting the FDM signal. That is around 96 kilohertz. Or in general, I can say that the bandwidth required to transmit n number of signals is n into W hertz, where W is the message bandwidth, or it is the bandwidth required for SSB modulation in voice communication or in telephony application. So in this video, I have explained what is the concept of FDM is, frequency division multiplexing, which is more commonly used in analog communication, but it can be used in the digital communication also, like in mobile communication, our digital mobiles, GSM and all. We use FDMA along with TDMA, which is similar to FDM and TDM concepts. Thank you for watching this video.